Hey everyone, it is Elsa932 on YouTube, and we are back for allsfair episode 2. Let's get into it because there's more details, there's more cases, there's a lot more going on. So, Niecy Nash and Naomi, they discuss information from the surveillance of Chase. Remember, Chase is Kim Kardashian's soon-to-be ex-husband because he just left. They're tracking him and found that he was with women who are of a lower class, meaning they have ankle monitors as jewelry. They had me cracking up with that. Okay. They're like, hey, he totally went for a different, class abroad. Now, Naomi, once we find out her character, Liberty, has a man for the past 2 years. And Niecy Nash and the other ladies thinks he's a good man. But she isn't so sure. She isn't so sure with all these divorces and all these, bad character men. She doesn't want to make a mistake. So Kim Kardashian walks in with Glenn Close as her divorce attorney. And we're like, ding, ding, ding. Yes. We thought, or at least I thought, Glenn Close was only going to be in episode 1. So this is a delight. She's going to be around a while because that divorce ain't going to be quick. So then they're like, oh, have you called around the other houses to see if they would, have Kim Kardashian as their client? They're like, yeah, all but one. And they look at each other and they realize it's Sarah Paulson's house. She is called Carr. I believe her character's name is Carrington. Now, they are sworn enemies, Kim Kardashian and Carr, because they did not take her with them when the three of them left the previous law firm. And they're like, wait a minute, we got to get her because she may be the only attorney to take the husband's case. So the ringtone when Kim Kardashian is calling Carr, it's, I don't F with you. What? Everything. Y'all know the song. Done to be, I don't give a F. I don't give a, y'all know the song. And she lets that play for a while before she picks up the telephone. So Kim Kardashian and Glenn Close had to listen to that for a little bit. So Kim Kardashian asked like, hey, I need a lawyer and I know we can bury the hatchet and let's see. But y'all, her husband is already there. And Carr said, it would have been sweet if I was the first call you made, but I know I'm not. So after she hangs up the phone, Glenn Close said nothing during that call and says, guess what, Kim? Let's light her ass on fire. I said, yes, we're going to have head-to-head Sarah Paulson and Glenn Close. Now, y'all, I love Glenn Close since Damages, and I feel like she's back in her rare form. So we get another case. We see it's Deandra Barber. She is a scientist. She created a new material, a new replacement for steel. It's way stronger. It's way lighter to lift and to conform. And this is absolutely a breakthrough. Her husband is not a scientist, but he is a businessman. And since they revolutionized the steel and construction industry, this divorce, it wasn't easy. Now, they've already divorced, and he gave her 9 of the companies they created. Now, the 9 companies, they are the worst that he gave her. Not only that, they are drowning in payroll taxes, and they have been drowning in other debt for decades. He listed her as the top officer in the companies, so all these debts are hers. Now, Niecy Nash tells her, hey, the documents are fake. It's for a long con. You were definitely conned. But on paper, she's complicit. And a war with the IRS is going to be lengthy. So while they're like trying to talk about what her options are, she's like, hey, can I go, vape for a little bit? So she goes behind them to the balcony and she's just, breathing a little bit while they talk strategy. Like, we could do this, but how would we do this? So while they're discussing this, we realize that the client jumps. They are all shocked. After that, we see the next scene that Glenn Close meets them on the plane. They talk about how her husband is sick, how it has been hard for her, and they cheer her up by talking about the jewelry that's going to be on auction. Remember, the previous client, they're going all for this weekend in New York to buy a piece of jewelry. So then they realize they all want the same piece. Now, this woman, I told y'all, has closet full of jewelry, but they all want the same piece. And Glenn Close is like, hey, we just going to have to outbid each other. Now, you know, Naomi, we find out that her good doctor is going to be in town as well. And again, they tell her this is a good guy. This is a good guy. And Glenn Close also said, hey, you got to have some faith in him. So we do see Sarah Paulson at the auction. So Cara decided she going to New York too. Y'all can't all leave California. So Glenn Close, that's when she reveals that she is Kim Kardashian's lawyer in this divorce. And so they'll be going head to head. And Sarah, Cara is shocked. She is shocked. She is shocked so much. She's like, I thought that, you'd be a dried prune. You can't come up against me. It's so sad, but we wouldn't be going head to head. And Glenn Close is like, yes, actually, we will be. We definitely will be. Then, Glenn Close also tells it, it would have been so wonderful for all of us if your mother just swallowed. I said, no way. These ladies are going at each other. So we later on see that Glenn Close is in the hotel lobby having a drink. Now, they threw the bid. They all realized that, Sarah Paulson, Carr, she's going to be out trying to outbid them. So they just let her have it. They're like, whatever. And I thought we were going to have a slipperoo of jewelry, but that's not the case. So Glenn Close, as I said, is in the hotel lobby. She's having a drink and the auctioneer approaches her and says, I saw you through that auction. He's a man that knows women. He grew up around his mother and sisters. And she's like, wait a minute, I'm a married woman. He says he knows and also knows that she's only in town for one night. He drops the key to his room and says, hey, room 344. We see that we don't know what happens until later. Naomi has a 3-year anniversary dinner with the good doctor, and he takes her to a very, very chic restaurant. She's like, I thought we were going to be low key. She says it's too much. She gets very anxious when he reaches in his pocket, but when he reaches, it's not a ring box. It's actually, he creates vitamins. So he created this vitamin, definitely, and she wanted to try it, okay? That's the type of doctor he is, about research, about writing books. So she thought he was going to propose, and she was, finally, he's not going to propose. Then they bring out a dessert with the ring on it. He puts it on her finger. He's like, let's just try it. She's like, let's take things slow. He's like, why don't you slowly try it on? He then comes around the table, drops on one knee, and she tries to stop him. Y'all, he proposes, and she's like, give me a minute. And she runs out the restaurant in a complete panic. Doesn't even look back at him. On the plane, she tells the ladies, and Naomi again asks Glenn Close, how did you know your husband was a good man? Glenn Close said, let me tell you something. We have not been intimate in 3 years. His cancer has returned, but she admits about the time with the auctioneer, and we find out she did go to his room. She admits to the auctioneer in the room that she has never cheated on her husband. They do have a passionate kiss, and she leaves the room. She decided she will tell her husband about it. The lady's like, wait a minute, you ain't done nothing wrong, girl. Pull the brakes up. And Glenn Close says honesty is part of true intimacy. And they tell Kim Kardashian what they did find out about her husband. We don't find out. That's where they close the scene. Glenn Close does go home while in bed with her husband. She does confess. He said, it's okay. She just wanted something. She's like, no. She wants her husband. She wants what they had before. He never thought about it like this, okay? She says, I want you to remember what it was like looking at me across the room. Your heart fluttering when you saw me. Those intimate moments. And they do have an intimate time because he kind of remembers that, and they get back physically together. Naomi and Glenn Close, they discuss the case and of the lady that unalived herself. And Glenn Close tries to get Naomi to admit that the doctor could be one of the good guys. Niecy Nash Betts walks in with evidence of where Chase has been cheating and with whom. And while she tells them, they are shocked. And then Kim Kardashian walks in and says, okay, whose house was he at? She's like, it can't be worse than the 3 other affairs with those women that you showed me who were between 19 and 20 years old. And they're like, yes, it could be. It's Milan. Y'all, that's Tiana Taylor's character, and as also Kim Kardashian's receptionist. The receptionist that she is personally tutoring to help her pass the bar. So Kim says she fine. I'm fine. Now Kim's character is called Aurora. Everybody say she in denial. Okay, you are in denial. And they want to know, when will Kim get mad and seek revenge? Glenn Close has an idea that in the case, maybe they can't legally go after that widower, but they can seek revenge for his dearly departed wife. So she tells Kim Kardashian in this scene, you need to get mad. You need to get hot, or you're not going to make it through this divorce. I said, girl, she grabbed her chin and said, you need to get mad. Naomi does go to see the good doctor. He's playing basketball by the beach, and he is a little cold, understandably so. He said, you could leave the ring at the front office. I was like, daggone it. Did we get that cold? But she's like, can we talk? And they walk along the beach. And he gets that she thinks that they may be like her clients. And she says, yes, but she does want a life with him. He said he doesn't know he has fears too. And losing her once was enough and he can't do it again. So she says she doesn't want fear to rob her of the man that she loves. And she proposes to him on the beach. And he says, can I think about it? She's devastated. And then momentarily he says, okay, I've thought about it. Yes. And they, of course, hug and kiss, and they are engaged. Now, Niecy Nash Betts gets home. Now, she's the mother of triplets, and we do find out that she used a donor in order for her to have kids, because she didn't want to be bothered with no husband. And we find out the triplets are called Ezra, Elijah, and Egypt. They're in the kitchen. And one of them didn't get into MIT for early admissions. And he said, I ain't doing no regular admissions. She's like, you going to do what I tell you to do. And he's like, I told you. She's like, you better take that bass out your voice when talking to me, boy. And I was like, ooh, we about to have a moment here. We're about to have a moment. But the joke's on her. He did get in. All three of them did get in. She said, this is because I went and got a donor with a high IQ. But they do have a lovely moment over dinner reminiscing about all the things that she did as a single parent in order to show that they really didn't need a father. So like Little League, she coached them, and they show us a clip of her running out on the field to go after the ref, to her going after a teacher trying to mess up one of their GPAs because of penmanship. And also she used to sing them to sleep when they were sick. And she does start crying. Apparently she is an emotional, person too, even though she's investigating folks. Then we see Glenn Close. She goes to the widower's auction. He's apparently auctioning off a whole bunch of expensive cars. She approaches him and they talk about the donations that he's made. She's like, I know you've been moving money and stuff around. He knew she was a lawyer, and she's like, hey, I need a moment to talk about these illegal transfer of assets. Glenn Close said he left a trail of paperwork wider than the jet he rides on. And she has enough evidence for just 5 years in jail. And if there's a forensic accountant, that can lead to 5 more years in jail. He's like, state your terms. She demands that he rehire all the employees that were let go, replenish the profit sharing plans, and give the deceased ex-wife shares to her sister and parents. She then leaves, and she said, I hope to hear from you soon. They were sitting in one of his vintage cars, y'all, because she was like, hey, we're going to have this meeting in this car, and I'm going to come in and walk out. Now, one of the things that Glenn Close has, that fashion sense that I love, she wears brooches in every scene that just take my breath away. I just love it. I'm a brooch girl, y'all. So then we see Kim Kardashian. She goes over to her employee's home, Milan, the one who's having the affair with her husband, in a yellow dress and got a yellow bat, and she jumps out and shatters all the windows of the car. Smashes the windshield, climbs on top. She has her lemonade moment. But we find out it's all a dream. But she is at the employee's house, and she comes outside. She walks up to the door, and she is standing there with her hand on her hip when Tiana Taylor walks out. Tiana Taylor is Milan, okay? So Tiana Taylor does share inside at the kitchen that it started last March. It was flowers, it was gifts, and then the key to this home. She does worship Kim Kardashian, which is Aurora. And Kim is like, well, did you want to be me? What is it? Really? So then Kim says, okay, you know me. You know exactly how I behave. Then walk me through this. So Tiana Taylor says why, she saw the private jet, she saw the expensive stuff, and she wanted that too. And she didn't see a place for her to grow to that level. So where's her place in the shadow of Kim Kardashian? So he dined her, and Tiana Taylor does apologize. She's like, you just sorry? That's all you are? Just sorry? What? You're not special. He's been doing this with a ton of other women. Tiana Taylor shocks her by saying, yes, but I'm pregnant with his baby. Kim Kardashian is shocked out of her mind. And that is how episode 2 ends. Y'all, I hope you'll join me for episode 3. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel.